Trump has done it again. The magician he is. So while everyone was paying attention to the warm-up of whether he was going to obliterate Iran, he very cautiously, without a tweet, stole $1 billion.
The title, fucking outrageous and highly illegal, quote, Trump has grifted his entire life. Now he's just taking it. The State Department transferred $1.25 billion in foreign aid to Trump's Board of Peace, pulling $1 billion from international disaster assistance, $200 million from peacekeeping operations, and $50 million from international organizations. Money that Congress authorized for hurricanes and refugees moved without a congressional vote, so totally illegally, into a fund that Trump created by executive order and controls personally.
Controls personally. Controls personally. This is just unbelievable. I'd like to say that, you know what I mean, we voted for this, but we didn't. Matter of fact, I don't even know how this is legal. This is from a post, and I'm going to have to fact check everything that he's saying here. But just on its face, because we do know that he has had the, Board of Peace, and that he promised them like $7 billion to Gaza eventually, but he's charging $1 billion to get a seat at the table for people to be on his Board of Peace. Now, if he's technically the chairman for life, that's what he named himself as, the chairman for life. And according to this report, when he leaves the White House, he keeps the funds. It's not a loophole. That is by design. Now, we'll see how this works out in the end, but you didn't see no tweet about that. But let's go on to the art of the deal with Iran. Okay, let me just state, first of all, what the conditions are. And then I'm going to show you how this came about. And it was during the TYT show, which I don't like to watch, but sometimes they have the best reporting in the real-time form. Number one, commitment to non-aggression. Number two, Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. Number three, acceptance of Iran's uranium enrichment. So yeah, we continue going to make a bomb. You know what I mean? That's one of their 10 points, to continue enrichment. Now, whether it's going to be enrichment to the point of they can use it for a bomb or enrichment for something else, it just says enrichment. There's no limits on that. Number four, lifting of all primary sanctions. Number five, lifting of all secondary sanctions. Number six, termination of the UN Security Council resolutions. Number seven, termination of all Board of Governors resolution. Number eight, well, I can't believe this is even on there, paying compensation to Iran for blowing it up. Withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from the region. And number 10, the cease of war on all fronts, including in Lebanon. This is what he's done time and time again. I mean, I don't have time to read you how many times we've pushed the daggone day, the date of him bombing Iran. But this is the nuances. Here's the real story. And I commend St. Uger for giving us the real deal, real-time reporting. Sync, I believe, is from Turkey. So he has a certain connection when it comes to Iran by way of his nationality. So today, I knew if I paid attention to Sync that I would catch something that most people here in America would not see. So whoever his sources are, gave him this information.
Number one, Trump said unilaterally that we're doing a ceasefire and Iran has agreed to it. When he said that, Iran had not agreed to it. It was a Pakistani proposal, not an Iranian or American proposal. So, but the fact that Trump said our side will take it is good news, okay? And he even said we're considering Iran's 10-point plan, good news. Iran then comes back and goes, all right, we have not agreed to any of that in the beginning. This was all while we're live, all developing as we speak. Then they said, okay, if you say that you're gonna cease bombing for 2 weeks and you have agreed to our 10-point plan, we declare victory. So that was the earlier New York Times report where Iran said Trump has agreed to the 10-point plan and will be sending us reparations and we'll be removing all of American bases from the Gulf states. We haven't agreed to any of that. Trump hasn't agreed to that, but the Iranians are claiming that we agreed to that. And now this Arakchi update is the last one saying, okay, we will open up the Strait of Hormuz for 2 weeks. That's the most important development because now it's become two-sided rather than just Trump backing out, right? So guys, look, I hope that it develops into a deal where we leave. My guess is that Israel will not be happy about that deal and they'll push aggressively to make sure that it doesn't happen. It's only Israel has the ban. So the only thing we want is reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Sorry, this was a really stupid idea on our part and just come home, right? Reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We don't give up anything otherwise and we come home. We had no business in this war in the first place.
That is Sink's take on it. And I agree wholly that is exactly what's most likely is going to happen. Because, like I said, we need to take into account who Donald Trump is and the history that has happened. For example, when we first started negotiations with the Houthis on Palestine, gathered them all in Qatar. That was a deal that was made undercover between Trump, Qatar, and Israel that they would all meet there. And what did they do? They tried to kill them all. Israel bombed them. We act like we didn't know Israel was going to do that. Second thing, when we said we were in talks and negotiations to not bomb their nuclear enrichment program, they had agreed, like they did before, that they weren't going to enrich to be able to power a nuclear bomb. And while those negotiations were going on, Trump said there was a ceasefire. What did we do? In the middle of the night, we ran through there and bombed the hell out the nuclear place, which he said was obliterated. Correct? Yes, correct. Then we had a third ceasefire deal. And that's when Trump was beginning to talk about, well, they dug up their enrichment uranium, so we got to go back again. Yeah, we did obliterate it. Well, you know, they can dig it up. So we're in talks again. He said it again. We're negotiating. Once again, they agreed not to enrich to the point of to have a nuclear bomb. What do? Ran straight up in there and bombed them again. Then it was on. So that's 3 times that we've seen Trump be a snake, try and be slick. But as you see, by what Sink Uyghur said, nobody's really agreed to anything. This is just all posturing. Everybody's still getting ready. We went in there totally unprepared. By unprepared, I mean without CIA intelligence, ground intelligence. We just thought we was going to go over there and bomb them. And they were just going to say, we give up. This is a lack of diplomacy and negotiating. Trump can't do it. And there's no way those demands are going to be met. No way. I'm just saying.